Good morning, and good morning. And let's see. Ooh, it's 9:02. How are you? How are you? I know. A lot going on in the world. A lot going on in our lives. Food costs, everything. I don't know if we'll see it in gas or we'll see it. Well, we'll see it, but we're gonna see some stuff. So we have to brace for it. And periodically, I have to go back and just remind myself, and hopefully as I feel that I try to motivate, is remind others that you know um, we're not always in control, but we can try as best we can to control how we feel about things. And sometimes it's tough. Sometimes it's extremely tough for us to actually say it's yay or nay, it's up or down for us, it's okay or it's not okay. But one thing I feel has always helped me is when I can find a point to laugh, find a way to laugh. And I know that periodically I will come back to a few words that, I will never give up on them because I think that gives us our way forward. If we always are feeling or in our feelings and we're sad or we're anxious or we're, you know, um, worried, frustrated, we forget to laugh. We forget to make it where we can find funny. We can find something that just makes us roll. I always used to love to sit and talk to my girlfriend. I had a girlfriend named Harriet, and Harriet was the funniest lady you ever want to see. Good morning, Miss Joan. How are you? How are you? Good to see you in the space. I'm talking about laugh this morning because you know we all, even if we don't say it to each other, we all have worries. We're worried about something. But getting back to my girlfriend named Harriet, I called her Big Red because Big Red was about 6'1" in her stocking feet, and she was big. She was very big. She was a big woman, and she was beautiful. She had the best doggone smile ever. Laughter is a stress releaser. Come on now, and that's what I wanted to do this morning. I said I know I have those other words, those heavier words to know, but to me, I just want to get back to having a little fun every now and then. It's something that makes me laugh. So, Red and I could say one thing to each other. It might be just a word, and we would be laughing to tears, to our sides hurting, to us falling on the floor. I just never had that personality with anybody else. I had people that make me laugh, but for something, it was something about the way she laughed. Okay. Because she laughed with such, gusto, is that not only did she laugh, but she'd throw her head back. Next thing you know, her head back. She'd have tears in her eyes. She'd be bent over. She'd run to the other side of the room. Now, I told you she was 6'1". So she was a big woman, but so graceful, so funny, to the point where I could just see her, and we couldn't go certain places. And if I looked at, I'd have to just not look at her, because if I looked at her, that meant we were on a laughing tour. And I said, no, we can't do this today. But have you ever found somebody that just made you laugh? Made you forget about all the worries that you had, all the trouble that you had, or the frustration that you had, all the anxiety that you had, okay, or currently have. Occasionally I have to go find somebody that's going to make me laugh. I know that there's something that they're going to say something or they're going to do something that just makes me laugh. And I love comedians, so I will sometimes even listen to, like Dave Chappelle. He makes me laugh. Or even Kevin Hart. Sometimes Kevin makes me laugh, especially when he talks about you're going to learn today. How many of us don't realize that, our parents were the best, to me, resources for funny material. My mother always made me laugh, and she was a cusser. Our pastor always talks about cussers. He said, I know you're in here. He said, I know you say that God's still working on you. But anyway, my mother was one of those. She enjoyed it. And after a while, we just stopped trying to correct her because there was no way to correct her. That's who she was. But she didn't use foul language. Well, I guess it was foul. Let me leave that alone. She used foul language, but she used it in such a way that it was humorous. So usually she was trying to be funny or she was making everybody laugh. So she kept up the spirit of what fun is all about and what laughter sometimes makes us do. It lifts our spirit. And sometimes, I don't know, for me, I need my spirit lifted. And I was listening to some of the airways last night, and you hear this and you hear that, and you hear the frustration, you hear the anger, you hear the worry, you hear the concerns, and then you hear the retaliational speeches. And I said, I'm tired. I am tired, and I just want to laugh a minute. Not saying that any of the troubles will go away. Let's be honest. Some of the things that need attention cannot be fixed like yesterday or even today or even tomorrow. They may take time to do it, but it still doesn't say that we don't have our concerns. We don't have our frustrations, our hates, our hurts. We just have to say it is what it is. It is what it is. But I found this poem this morning. It's a new poem, so I didn't use some of the older ones that I've used when I talk about laugh. It says Your Laughter, and it's by Pablo Neruda. It says, take bread away from me if you wish. Take air away, but do not take from me your laughter. Do not take away the rose, the lance, flower that you pluck, the water that suddenly bursts forth of joy, the sudden wave of silver born in you. My struggle is harsh, and I come back with eyes tired, at times from having seen the unchanging earth. But when my laughter enters, it rises to the sky, seeking me, and opens for me all the doors of life. My love in the darkness hour, your laughter opens, and it suddenly you see my blood staining the stones of the street. Laugh, because your laughter will be from my hands like a fresh sword. Next to the sea in the autumn, your laughter must raise, its foamy cascade. And in the spring, love, I want your laughter like the flower I was waiting for, but the blue flower, the rose of my echoing country. It says, laugh at the night, at the day, at the noon, at the moon. Laugh at the twisted streets of the island. Laugh at this clumsy boy who loves you. But when I open my eyes and close them, when my steps go, when my steps return, deny me bread, air, light, spring, but never your laughter, for I would die. And sometimes we lose our laughter. We die, and other people see that there's deadness around. So I looked at this poem almost like a way to describe the fact of what we're going through in the world, in our country, whatever. There is a period where we see that laughter is lost for a minute. You don't see a lot of people laughing. They're concerned, or they're stressed, which is what you said, Joan. They're stressed. How do I do this? What do I do? How can it be that I don't have, all that I feel I need to feel comfortable, to feel safe, to feel accomplished, to feel, to put trust someplace? What do I do? How do I find my laughter? So that's what this is about today. How do we find laughter? I'm not sure. All I can do is explain what I'm trying to do with laughter, but I don't know how I can find it where it's more consistent with myself or even with you. but I try to be that vessel that at least looks back on sometimes we have to look back over our lives. We have to look back over our situations. Where are we? What's going on? How are we? We can't always turn off what we need to know about. Sometimes we find out by surprise that something happened only because we never tuned in. I know that sometimes we need to turn off the TV and turn off the radio and sometimes turn off people. We do. But on the other hand, we need to turn it on. And then in the midst of what we know more of, we don't have to leave it on constantly. But once we know what's going on, we still need to turn back to ourselves and lift ourselves up high enough where we're above the level of being sad or grieving or depressed or angry or weakened or whatever. We need to look inside and find what makes us laugh. How can we find that? How? It may be somebody that constantly has a joke. Listen to them. It may be somebody that just says, hey, let's go down to, let's go shopping. Let's stop and get something to eat. And, you laugh over lunch. Something that takes you away from what might be depressing you and puts you back in an area where you're comfortable, where you're able to say, I found a reason to laugh today. That's what I want. That's the end of I can almost say, like I passed, I'm almost done with this. Sometimes we have to find something that turns us away from the negative, turns us to the positive, and gives us a point of something to laugh at. Something. So laugh, what is it? It says it is a spontaneous sounds and movement of the face and body that are instinctive expressions of lively amusement and sometimes also of contempt, of derision, which is contemptuous ridicule and mockery. Sometimes we have to go there. We just have to say, that makes us laugh. I'm gonna laugh with it. I'm gonna go with it. But it says that sometimes even the things that we should be repulsed by makes us laugh. It gives us some humor, It gives us humor. I think one of the things that's always, probably for the last 100 years, through wars, through periods of peace, there's always been a cartoonist someplace making sense by using humor of what's going on. And it may be to the positive, to the negative of what you believe, but it's something that hopefully is going to jar you into finding something that gives you humor, making it something that was needed to be heard, something that you wanted to hear, and something that is important enough that it took you away from what wasn't as important or shouldn't be as important. Our laughter is just important. Good morning, Miss Claydine. Grand rising, my queen. Grand rising to you too. I saw you having fun with the Mardi Gras. Okay now. All right now. Good for you. I've done it. I did it not last year, the year before, and it was fun. I had a good time. But anyway, so what is laughter? When we talk about being laughed, it says it's a guffaw, chuckle, a howl, a crackle. It's a chortle, a roar, a ha-ha. It could be something that makes us shake, a hoot. It says when one splits one side. How many of us have split our side laughing at things? I know I am one that loves to split my side. If you've made me laugh, child, come on now. That's a good thing because I love to laugh. It says it puts you in being in stitches, rolling in the aisles. Now, I had a friend that used to roll. Every time she got tickled, she'd fall on the floor and you see her roll. And she said, girl, don't tell me that no more. Okay, I said, I won't tell you that because you need to get up. You need to get up from there. Laughter is also the giggles and it's the TTs. So that's what laughter is. How many of us laugh like that? How many of us are laughers that do? How many of us throw a head back? What kind of laughter are you? If you were to describe the kind of laugh you have, what would you say it is? Good morning, Erica. Hey, sweetie, how are you? Good to have you in the space. If you're a laugher that absolutely throws your head back and you get tears in your eyes, you can say that. If you're a person that just laughs kind of, my mother, even though she made everybody laugh, she was real quiet with her laugh. She said, and she'd go on to the next statement. So you never saw her, bent over or none of that. All my life, I never seen that. But she would have you, and I think she was a comedian. Okay, that's what I think my mother was. I think she was a comedian that never got a break on stage. But I said one day I might write a one-woman show with some of the things that my mother used to say that were funny. And some of them I'm gonna have to put a disclaimer and ask my church, don't throw me out. I would say blame it on Lily. Blame it on Lily, but don't blame it on me. I'm just saying what you used to say. But anyway, when we break the word down, remember if you're a quiet giggler or you're loud and rolling on the floor, write that in. I was just trying to find out this morning where you all are at. So if I break the word down, I first say that when someone laughs, they're generally they're light-hearted people. They're not worried about all the worries of the world. Let's face it, there's enough worry in the world to basically push us down, make us depressed. Depends where I am. Okay, me too. That's true. But for me, I know for myself, when I am absolutely blown away with something that's absolutely crazily funny, that's it. I'm gonna let loose. My daughter makes me laugh like that. She does, because she calls up with crazy stuff. My daughter always acts like she's proper. What you say, authentically loud, because I too love to laugh. Yes, you do. I know you do. Love you too. My daughter makes me laugh with just absolute craziness. And she calls up my phone. She calls me on the phone and she says, "Is this my mother? I'm looking for my mother." And I said, "Well, who is your mother?" She said, "Oh, her name is Sandra. I believe the last name is, well, do you know Sandra? Why are you answering her phone?" I said, "I don't know her. Never met her at all." Next thing you know, we're laughing for like 10 minutes straight just because that's how she calls me up. She acts like she doesn't know me, but she does. She does. So lightheartedness, I would say that would be my word for my L. And lightheartedness, amusing and entertaining. It says of a person or their behavior. Cheerful and carefree. My daughter sometimes, even if I'm worried about something, I can talk with her and I say, "Well, she ain't worried." She's not worried about all about that. She doesn't worry about it, which is, I love that lightheartedness and carefreeness, but we don't always have it, as parents. We don't always have it as friends. We don't always have it as coworkers. Sometimes we're not lighthearted. Family members, we're not. Marriages, whatever. We don't always have it, Sometimes we do. A lot of times we do not. But lightheartedness is saying somebody is cheery and happy language. That's right. And laughter, I think, is a part of how we deliver language, because sometimes if you're angry, the words that you use, even if they're positive words, if they come out where you delivered them in anger, then the message is clearly that it was a transmission of the feeling versus, what the word was really stating. And sometimes when they're combined together, so that the anger and, the actual physical condition of anger comes out, then you're right. Then it would be language is there. So that would be true. Then I said, so it's cheery, happy, merry. Somebody's glad and gleeful, joyful, lively, perky, bright, bubbly. They always say that she has a bubbly personality, optimistic. And see, I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to look at this, is because We have a lot of things that we're dealing with in the world, in the country right now, and we're concerned what will be affected. Will Medicare be affected? Medicaid? Will Social Security? Will our pensions? If we have any money in the stock market, will it be affected? You know, so we have to try to find, in the midst of all of those could be's, possibilities, ifs. I always talk about if, which my grandmother always told me that the F was a crooked letter, and so you had to be weary. There was question to it. We may feel that we can't be lighthearted yet. We can't find a reason to laugh or smile or feel joyful. But I say find a moment someplace. Okay, we can't stay in the gloom and doom forever. We have to find a place where we feel better about our situation, even though we have no control over, what happens to some of the things that we're concerned about. We don't. We have other people in control of that. So we still have to deal with whatever it is to deal with. So I still say, in between, find some joy, find some happiness, find laughter. Okay. So, and it also says lightheartedness can be free and easy and vivacious. We move on in our word. Oh, excuse me. We move on in our word of laugh. My A is for amuse. How many of us are amused by what's going on? Most of us would probably say, no, we got to get through this. This is tough times. This is tough times. When you go to the store and the eggs are $10.99, I said, I'm not going to eat any eggs. I'm not going to eat any eggs. And I'm not going out to give somebody 50 cents more for an egg that, a month ago was real reasonable. Well, they were more reasonable. They weren't reasonable, but they were more reasonable than what they are now. So we have to action. Come on now, Joan. What actions do we take? We need to be positive about the actions that we are looking out for ourselves, of things that are in our control. Authentic. Yes, that's a great word. How do we stay our authentic selves? How do we stay in the position where, if we've always been known to be someone that's content and happy and, what I would say, concerned for others, that's a beautiful thing, but we also have to acknowledge that we don't have control over what may affect us, and therefore be in a position to try, notice I said try, to steal our joy. Good morning, Calithia. How are you? Good to see you. Acknowledge. Yes, sometimes we have to acknowledge where we are, how we are, and ask you where you are and how you are. And in the process, try to find something to laugh about. Try, adapt, and adjust. That's right. And we do that often. Thank you, Lavender. Thank you. Good to see you in the space this morning. Sometimes we do that. We realize that we have to adapt and adjust. And we do that. Let's face it. People that don't do that, they have more of a difficult time because they're trying to control things that are out of their control. Unless you're probably like, my mother and grandmother, where you had money up under the mattress or inside your stockings or your brassieres. I know it's bra. It's hard to say that you don't use a bank nowadays. You have to adjust. You have to adapt. Yeah. And hopefully along the process, you find a reason to smile. If there's something that that makes you happy, be around it more often. Maybe it's a child. Maybe it's an older person who always has, really snappy things to say, or maybe they're snapping up everybody and you love it, find something. And maybe read a book, as Lavender always talks about. Miss Ryder herself, read a book, read a book, find something that gives you joy. And sometimes you can find it in the pages, which you can't find in your current or your present state of your existence, because once again, You're not controlling the things that may be affecting. So when we look at amuse, which is what I said, cause someone to find something funny or entertaining. We try to do that. It says amuse, entertain, make laugh, divert. I like that word, divert. How do we, which is like adapt and adjust. Diverting means is like take yourself out of the equation or the situation of constantly being glued into an area or something that you cannot change. You are part of what is being changed and how it will come back towards you. Do a craft. Oh, yes. Yes. Write. Write a book, as Robin says, and certainly Lavender say, write a book. Write a book. Try your hand at poetry. Paint. There's some people that have found out that later in life, they were able to locate not only their passion, but their ability to produce something beautiful. And painting, or it could be stitchery, it could be sewing. So there's a lot of things that are available to you if you just turn a little bit away from the TV, away from the news, and find yourself on something that makes you happy. Still, you need to know what's going on in the world. You need to know if something's coming your way that you need to be prepared for. So I say that. So amuse also talks about finding pleasure, being pleased, charmed, tickled. I think that's a cute word. Distracted from what might be taking you in a negative way, engrossed in something that gives you contentment. My you in my word of laugh is for unchain. You probably said, where'd she get that from? Unchain. To remove the chains fastening or securing something or someone. Just what I said. Unchain. Meaning unchain yourself from all the things that constantly have you in a nervous state, or in anxiety, or frustration, or depression. Unchain. Unlink yourself from things that are tethering you to come along. That you feel so much anguish and anger and attitude that you never get back down to where you really need to be, or over. I won't say down. I'll say over to where you need to be, which is a little bit more happy. Finding your joy wherever it comes from. Whatever makes you joyful, find it. Look into what you can uncouple. That's a good word. Unchain, yourself from things that are pulling you down. Good morning, Adelia. How are you doing, sweetie? Good to see you in the space. So when we are unchained from things, oh, by the way, today our word is laugh, because I want us to laugh. I want us to find a way that makes us laugh, makes us, if we can holler with it, holler with it. If you can lay down in the floor, bend over in your chair, whatever it is, laugh. Find something that tickles you so much that you will just, because they said laughter helps the endorphins raise in the body. So therefore, those are good things. Those are the good, things in the body that help you be at a higher level of how you feel and what you desire to do. But if you're depressed, you generally are going to be sluggish, and sometimes either sleeping a lot or laying around a lot or feeling disappointed, distracted, and certainly away from who and what you could be doing. So I say move forward. But unchained says to be liberated. How many of us are liberated? I know you can be so caught up on what's going on in the world that we forget, the fact that we are who we are. Good medicine. Oh, thank you, Ardelia. We have to get back to where are we at? We can't control everything, so we have to be able to put what I would say, some lipstick on it, some high heels on it. For us women, we're going to make it girlish. For the men, they will make it more masculine. So they may have some other things in their area that makes them laugh. Maybe for them, it's a game going on, okay? Or it's cars, or it's something, getting out and doing something is a positive thing, meaning unchain yourself from the rhetoric, the ear turmoil that goes on every single day. Some of it may be propaganda, some of it may be true, some of it may be, laughing, but not true. They do go together too. But we just have to find ourselves the best way we can. So unchain also means to untie, to discharge, to be freed, and to be unbound. Unbound, meaning, like when you hear people say, I don't let nothing steal my joy. Some of those folks, especially the people that are much older, that have lived through some horrible times. They've lived through wars. They've lived through, the depression. They've lived through poverty. They lived through soup lines. They've lived through these things, and they still, when you talk to them, found a way of things that made them forget about that. And some of them went up. They went to their higher power, to God. For me, they went and they said, you know what? I still have hope, and I still have my joy. I still have my joy, because I could be gone. I could already left here. I could have left here because I worried about things that were so much out of my control that it took me a while to get back into, what I would say, back in stride again. Took me a while to get there, because I thought I was trying to control things by listening and feeling, oh my God, this is making me go down deeper, instead of saying, you know what? No weapons. I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm on my way. I'm going to laugh. I'm going to find people that help me get my laugh on, Now I can make you laugh, and you can make me laugh, so we can laugh together. Okay. Remember that. So when I move on in my word, my G of laugh is for how glad am I to be free of what other people are doing in the world that affect me. Okay, what gives me gladness? So therefore I have to find something to be pleased about. I have to find something that I am delighted about. Unstuck. Come on now. Thank you, Lavender, my friend. Thank you so much. And that is true. That is too funny, but so true. Are you stuck? Nope, I'm unstuck. I'm done with that. I'm unstuck. Okay. Genuine. That's good too, Joan. Thank you so much. Thank you. That is too much. Teach, girl. Unstuck. Oh my God. I love it. But please be delighted in who you are. Be delighted on finding your happy. Be delighted in finding your joy. And be overjoyed. When you're overjoyed, you don't have to show it to others. You can just show it. Okay? That means you out there just living your life, not worried. Now, I'm not saying go out and live your life to the point where you're drunken in the streets. I'm saying live your life to the point where you understand the fact that no matter what happens out there, I still know in here, I didn't say in my house, I'm talking about in here, that I'm holding up strong, that I found my laughter, I found my contentment, I found my ability to adjust, as Lavender said earlier, to adjust. And sometimes we have to realize that we will do some adjusting. Just like when we gain weight, lose weight, okay? That means we in a bigger dress or a smaller dress, a bigger pair of pants, men, or a smaller pair of pants. It doesn't matter. The point is that we have to move within ourselves of getting out of being, stuck and being depressed. being frustrated, being angered, you know. Oh yeah, sometimes I wake up to the news, you know, because I have like a TV that with a little timer, and I tried it, and sometimes I wake up to, oh, you know, wow, that's happening. Oh, but I have to remember how I got here. You know, the fact that I'm still here just says that I still have a chance, you know, to be happy. I have a chance to not worry about what I can't control. I have a chance. I have a chance, you know. And so my gladness says I'm going to be as satisfied as I can be. That doesn't say I'm satisfied about everything. It just says I'm satisfied about some things. Try laughing at yourself. Come on now. I do. I do. I laugh at myself, you know. Oh, gorgeous. Oh, Kalithia, thank you. Sometimes we have to look at finding gorgeous in ourselves. Thank you, Kalithia. Kalithia. We have to. We have to do it. Because somebody may not tell you, you know, that you have a sour face, you know, or your disposition is worrisome, or that you show your anger. You know, I say find something that makes you happy. Keep that as your pinpoint every day. And I guarantee they can't shake the apples that you carry. They can't shake them down, because you're walking around like, you know, hey, no matter what you say, I'm still here. No matter what you've put upon me, or you put upon the world, the country, the city, you know, I have to deal with it. But I still have to keep myself in mind that I'm important. I matter. So I have to be glad that I'm still here. I have to be glad that I found a way to be thankful, satisfied, and therefore gleeful. Okay, I'm going to be there. That's all the things that GLAD talks about. How do you find these things in yourself is my question. And it's a question because when you hear things that really anger you, frustrate you, depress you, you have to get on the other side of that. You know, start with simple smile. That's right. To start with a simple smile. A smile to me is wonderful. You know, I'm trying to teach, let me say it that way. Some of the young people that I see especially at my church, when I see them, I said, hey, good morning. I said, can I see a smile today? And sometimes they'll give it to me, sometimes because somebody already done made their world rough that morning. They can't give it to me. But I said, well, maybe next time. You know, I don't take them down any further. It's just that I leave it where they will look back and say, well, at least she spoke. And at least she was smiling when she was talking to me. See, I believe our impressions that we leave on people, for me, it starts and ends with a smile. Sometimes I probably told people off and still smiled. And I believe they probably tried to do that to me. But I was smiling anyways, meaning whatever you say, it's okay. You know, because I'm not going to stand here for you to say things that are so negative that I've lost my ability to respond. No, I didn't lose my ability to respond. I'm not going to respond. I didn't lose the ability to do it. It's just that it doesn't deserve a response. And when things don't deserve a response, guess what? Out of there. The conversation's over. You know, you go to a round table and the person now, you notice I said round table, I say head table. You go to a round table and the person that's the lead at the round table, you know, and all of a sudden you don't see them as anything but a part of the circle. Okay. That's letting you know that everybody's playing on equal footing or attempting to. But if you're at a situation and you realize that what you say has no merit, then you can be okay with that. You said, look, that means I'm really done here. Okay, I'm going to listen, but I'm not going to provide any additional information because they're stealing my joy and I want my joy stolen. I don't. See, sometimes we don't get back to the point where we say what we don't. We have to sometimes tell ourselves what we don't want in our lives. It's hard. It's hard, especially if we see all the signs that say we should be feeling this way. We should be frustrated. We should be angry. We should be in anger. We should be, you know, depressed. You know, we should be docile, humble to the point where we're ready to just bow forward, you know. And I say my bow forward is going to be on my knees to my higher power. That's where I'm going. I'm going up. That's how I'm going to look at it. So GLAAD also looks at being over the moon about whatever, and it says when you're cuffed, CHUFFED, that means you are very pleased. So sometimes we need to be cuffed with what it is that we believe to be things that make us happy, and we stick with it. We just absolutely stick with it. That's it. My H, yay, last letter, is for humor. How do we find humor? You know, and I feel that sometimes we can look for humor, and sometimes humor is so simple. You know, it might be that you have a messy neighbor. I don't. You might have a messy neighbor, and you finally see somebody's dog walk over there and let down on their grass, and you say, "Ooh, that might be hilarious." Thank you, Joan. It might be humorous. It might be something that really says that is funny stuff. Notice I didn't cuss. Might be funny stuff. Sometimes we have to find humor in just the simple things that we see happening day to day in our lives. You know, I can give you a funny. I'll give you happy. That's right. That's a great word, Joan. Thank you. Let me give you a funny that happened with my daughter. Last week I made some homemade Italian marinara sauce, but of course, I added the meat to it, and I wasn't going to use spaghetti. I used these rotini, which is different for me. I usually use typically spaghetti, or I use penne, and I learned the recipe in Italy, so But anyway, it was delicious. So before my daughter went to sleep, I let her taste it, and she said, "Oh my mom, that's wonderful." But when she got up, I decided that I wasn't going to give her my last little bit of rotini because I only had a little short pack. It was real small. And I said, "Well, that's enough for me to have dinner." And so she said, "Oh, well, did you make me, my meal that I can have now?" And I said, "Yeah, I made the sauce." I said, "The sauce you can have." I said, "But I'm going to give you spaghetti." That thing had a fit. Oh my God. It was so funny. Her face changed. She said, "You didn't give me the same thing you had." I said, "No, I didn't have any more of the rotini." She said, "I'm looking at it right in the refrigerator." I said, "Oh, that's my little bit for this evening." Child, I laughed her up out of here. She was so upset with me. She said, "Ma, when you invite somebody over for lunch," and just because I went to sleep for a minute and I wake up, I expected to have lunch ready for me. I said, "Well, I said I would make you spaghetti or give it to you and you can make it and take it home." It wasn't flying. It wasn't flying at all. So therefore, that was my funny of last week with my daughter. But humor is the quality of being amusing or comic. I was that, especially as expressed in literature or speech. And it says it's also a mood. It's your temper. It could be your disposition. It's your state of mind. It's your frame of mind, and it's your spirit. How many of us have let some of the things that we're hearing currently in the headlines, on the news media, through the pundits, everything has probably put a damper on our nation. What I say to you is find the humor. Find something that makes you happy. Find something that makes you laugh. Find something that will, what I would say, squash down or tamper down, tap down the things that make the rise in you of depression and sadness and frustration and anger. You got to get rid of those things. There's nothing you can do for yourself but get to the side of it. Understand that it's going on. That's important. But also get to the side of it where you're on a positive side that says, "I'm still here. I still have an opportunity this day to laugh, to be happy, to be joyful, to be unstuck, to be unchained. Look, I'm gonna give you all the things y'all said to me, to adjust and readjust, all those things, all those things. It says the way you feel shows on your face. Come on now, come on now, But some people, now I admit, as a counselor, I know some people are good. They'll smile and know inside be torn up because they've also learned that, because it is a learned behavior of, it's how we have those looks on our face. Some people, it's hard for you to get a smile out of them because they're used to not smiling. Okay. But if you can find somebody that's able to be, what I would say, really smiling because they want to be, then you know it. So thank you so much for that, Ardelia. Let's see. Heavenly. Oh, that's a good word. Heavenly. Because Heavenly Father. That's I love it. I love it. That is a great word. Well, listen, I've run it down this morning on finding our laughter, and I apologize because I didn't bring a new word, but then I don't apologize because I believe that I wasn't stuck on that kind of word. I really thought that they wear the mask. You better believe it. I really wanted to make sure that those who come into the session today, that they know it's important, regardless of what we can't control, to find a way to make us laugh, because laughter is positive. Laughter is uplifting. Laughter, to me, I think it adds on to our longevity. If we're depressed all the time and angry all the time, we might be contributing. And I said might because I didn't look up the statistics, but we might be contributing to our, mental and physical demise. So I say, let's do it. I hope I see you all. And look, even when this ends, go in there and tell me what makes you laugh and what kind of laugh you offer. If you're a person that laughs from your side, or you cry when you laugh so hard with that. Just write something down. I'm just knowing. I'm trying to know more about the folks that come into the session. Listen, if you don't do anything else, hit the share button and let it be shared that it's quite important that we laugh. And I appreciate you. I love you guys for doing that. Lastly, on Sunday, if you're in the area at 4:30, the doors open. 5:00, we're putting on a theatrical. It's not a play. It's a theatrical production of, Emancipation is a Priceless Boon, or The Emancipation of Abraham. I am playing the wife, the role of Sarah, his love interest. Okay. It is really good. It's written by Robin Richard, and she's a part of the Kukua Institute here in the city. And she wrote it. She will narrate on Sunday. We will sing. It will also be with Eric Dozier, who brought Henry Box Brown here to Pensacola as a play, which is now being worked up for going to Broadway. And just so many good things. But thank you, Ardelia. Yes, you went early, so I'm looking forward to you. Better give me a hug too on Sunday. But anyway, it's going to be really, really good. We have also Lloyd Richard Jr. He is the baritone singer, and he's singing the role of Abraham. And I think his name is Ty Jones, Tenario Jones is playing the role of a captain. We have Lawrence Young is the drummer, so he's keeping the beat. So I'm telling you, it is a love story that happened after the Civil War, and around the time when they realized that, slaves were free. So it's really, really good. We're looking at it being about an hour and maybe 10 or 15 minutes. And then you can be off to do whatever else you have for Sunday evening. But I'm so happy if you would come. I'm looking forward to it. And it says we will be there. Thank you, Joan. Thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you all soon, hopefully on Sunday. And then those who can't come, I'll be back here on Friday. I'll be back on Friday. So this announcement will come again on Friday. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Uh-oh.